Are we ready to go toe to toe with our own reality? Can we embrace the emotional enswells this full moon in Leo offers, training us to release and adjust how we interact, bobbing and weaving with the less worthy aspects of often reflected identities, going round for round with our own guidance, reminding us there is a time to fight and a time to fly, all based on how bright we are willing to burn. From here, with a more innovative approach to any opposition felt, traumas rising can be seen for the opening of the heart they bring alongside the final bell of our own resolution. Are we light or heavyweight contenders? Well, that will be determined by the category within which we place ourselves, alongside the conflicts we are ready to throw the towel in for, none more so than the desires we may have felt disqualified from as a result. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, how much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers, saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. I'm always going to love you no matter what. No matter what happens, you're my blood. You're the best thing in my life. But until you start believing in yourself, you ain't going to have a life. Rocky Balboa. Sometimes I get lost, distracted in the information around me, deliberately, so I can call upon a familiar theme. The fighter I believe myself to be, have always been. Initiating an internal conflict, often born from defense, to spark the flame needed to guide me forward. A guilty passion. The irony being, this opponent, no matter what I may believe externally, resides within, training me to remember who I am in the only way I know how. It's a continual process, cyclic rounds after rounds. With each one, there comes an opportunity to throw in the towel by looking honestly at the bell that needs to be rung, as every time I find myself grasping at the ropes of my own reality and getting back up for another shot at the title. My own, that I'm becoming more reluctant to hand over as the years go on. Today, my match appears to be someone I never thought I would face. My mother. On her 4-year anniversary, her memory is, as always, reminding me that life isn't all sunshine and rainbows. That to change this, I must have the courage, not to fight, but to fly. Walking to the top of the hill behind my home earlier to meet the tree ancestor beneath which both my collie and wolfhound now reside, the playlist in my ear, switching tempo to Bill Conti's Flying High now. I almost placed my arms in the air, as if I'd reached the top of elevated steps, Rocky Balboa style. But I didn't, because the truth is I haven't. If anything, it feels as though the battle has only just begun, with one of the worthiest opponents I've ever faced, my creator. Seeing me in a way I often can't, reminding me I'm no coward. This morning, in my own tears, I heard something different. This wasn't my song. I was better than that, than my mother. I was supposed to be, for that was the good fight, and it was here I felt a childhood conflict. The lyrics of struggle and strength were from her funeral, a time when we had all said goodbye to what was, based on how she had been seen by so many, myself included. Resilient, powerful, defiant against the odds, an eternal fighter. I'd hung on to this, clinched to the apron ropes of my mother. But it wasn't my story. I had a choice that I didn't want to stand toe to toe with, to become a lineal champion. Recognizing how little I, in that moment, believed in myself, without her wisdom, I felt it. As my heart expanded with such pain, grief, love, anger, envy burning through me, the at times heavy weight we shared, that leveled the playing field, regardless of how often life had hit us. The choice to continue loving, believing in a better way. The courage to know this in our worth and go and get what we deserved, to find it within all the below the belt experiences by digging deep in the darkness and silence of pain for the emotional enswells needed. As I heard not only my own, but the upcoming full moon in Leo walkout song ringing in my ears. Hearts on fire. Similar sounds, same story, yet different. I knew my mother's experience would always be the trophy chest within which my own desires resided, but it was up to me to discover how winning was done. By becoming more aware of an independent social and moral code that continues to knock me and my matriarchal line out. The soul strengthening exercises I've been initiating, repeating, and more importantly, how aligned or not, as the case may be, they are with my own heart. Sat here now, I can feel the energetic echo of transformational training that this will bring, not only to my own current relationships and interactions, but the conscious conflict of creating choices that sustain this, my own light. The loneliness of my inner child, the core conditioning behind any wounds in my own identity that have sucker punched this out of me, slowly returning as I tend to the blow-by-blow beliefs that have caused injury to my own intuitive abilities. None more so than the world I have seen through the canvas of others. Aware, not all have been championing for my success. Of course, this has left me feeling a combination of cover-ups, a desire to protect, bob and weave my way through some painful pound-for-pound promotions. But the truth is, all this does is leave me ringside to the main event of life, disassociating from a majority decision of my own divinity, disqualifying my desires, blocking who my contenders really are, alongside the title I now wish to claim. I've always fought for those I love. Family, friends, animals, Pachamama, Great Spirit is a constant journeyman for me. There is no judicial jab I would think twice about giving or receiving as needed. But with the upcoming lunation, I, like us all, am being challenged to ensure this includes any needs we may have by identifying who is in our metaphorical corner and the agency this brings, ourselves included. Occurring on the 12th of February, we are being encouraged to look at where we have been focusing our own desires and perhaps placing these into a neutral corner, if we are to see which poor or limiting beliefs have been directing our stance. From here, any romantic, creative, or expressive styles may well return to the ring, provided we are willing to commit to them and ourselves. Supported by a trine with Chiron, the upcoming snow moon will clarify individual direction within the collective, depending on how aligned our thoughts are to the higher vision, not only of the story we choose to fuel, but the version of ourselves necessary to do so. By taking time to consider our emotions, we will decide naturally who we want to be in cohorts with. Reflected in this micro phase, with this will come a need for some discerning distance. With Mercury also in Leo and Saturn in Pisces, we can expect intense feelings of isolation to rise, as we embrace it is not what we are stepping away from, but towards. It is here we are more able to focus on the bigger picture, the champions of our own experiences, gifts, love, and light we are becoming. Necessary if we are to embrace the courage and integral responsibility to bring forth any rematches in the loyalty and protection towards who or how we are showing up. Supported to look at power plays, what this really means is cutting cords with any abuse of this, especially internally. From here, our hands are no longer tied or wrapped, ensuring, should we wish, there is great opportunity to step into the trailblazers we came here to be, fighting with passion for the vulnerable and innocent in the way we have been trained, for some, generationally, to do. Through the balance of personal and impersonal actions and moreover reactions, any beginnings disguised as endings will open the gate or chest even to our own worth, provided we can acknowledge this has to occur through the unique ability to transform our hearts and allow all that has been hidden within them to be seen. Vulnerable, of course, this expansion is further nudged by Jupiter and Gemini, suggesting a larger communication with our emotional allies, if we are to receive the counsel, abundance, and grit needed to expose ourselves to the divine guidance available. With more dedication to the partnerships that help us to rise in our own heat, being initiated through a T-square on the 6th, including the Sun, Ceres, Juno, and Uranus, we can expect this to be the focus, not only forming part of a grand cross on the full moon, but through to Valentine's Day, reminding us it's all about love. Not the commercial bought and sold, but the very I am presence from within that calls our hearts to burn through what no longer sustains us. If we are to take this into the new moon in Pisces later in the month, now is the time to bring spiritual vision and magic into our lives by acknowledging all that doesn't. As Venus squares with both Mercury on the 10th and the Sun in Aquarius on the 11th, many pieces of the puzzle will come into play in time for the final bell in Leo on the 12th. Until then, it may be difficult to find direct and healthy expressions for our frustrations, and it is advisable to ensure time for any basic needs if we wish to tend to the fire of our own enthusiasm and projects, rather than retaliate with ruthless lacks of compromise and revenge. With the moon opposite Mercury, emotions and logics are likely to be in conflict, which can make any planning difficult based on the level of adaptability over rigidity held onto. Add to this its opposition of Ceres and squaring of Uranus, and any lost nurture, ancestral healing, and familiar patterns now rising will become the necessary childhood wounds that require resolution, not only on an individual level, but within a collective grief, as we acknowledge the lives we have lived vicariously or had experienced through us, particularly regarding family history and traumas. Despite how it may sometimes feel, February offers us a foundation for the mood of the year ahead, supporting innovative ideas and far out there visions, as we are challenged to feel into the beliefs we have, and from here the real potential available, our own included. Like the very seeds of Imbolc, with Jupiter turning direct on the 4th, alongside Venus in Aries, Neptune aligning with the north node of the moon in Pisces on the 7th, and the Sun conjunct Mercury in Aquarius on the 9th, pre-full moon, it is our flowing brainwaves, open heart, confidence, belief, and humility that will empower the turning point and growth now needed from our outlook, or rather, where and what we choose to see. Are we a lover or a fighter? Is there a separation? What is the common cause? In this bigger plan, we can expect our dreams and those of the universe to align with more focus and clarity, particularly regarding any problem-solving, shared, stimulated energy. It isn't about doing it the same as each other or dismissing others' ways, but bringing together a more creative leadership with ourselves as we redefine our passions and what motivates us through what makes us unique. From here, heading into Pisces season on the 18th, the spring equinox on the 20th, and Mars going stationary and recalibrating our energy levels in Cancer on the 23rd, we will deeply appreciate we are always where we are meant to be. That it is the difference in our experiences that bring the completion we so often seek externally. In this moment of truth, self-acceptance will be what takes us through the final rounds of any repetitive scenarios now fighting for our attention. supported rather than antagonized by our sense of separation, in the activation of the Fomalhaut gateway occurring on the 2-2 portal, aligning with our own sun. This loneliest star, found on its own, offers a unique light into what it means to be ourselves, to stand in who we are and the powerful transformation that occurs naturally in doing so. By the time of the new moon in Pisces on the 27th of March, any increased sensitivity will serve to open a more non-violent communication necessary to bring balance and harmony within, in preparation for the astrological new year that follows, provided, of course, we can listen and act on our intuition. Until then, the spotlight and main stage of the full moon in Leo and Grand Cross reminds us, as above, so below, that winning can only be done by determining the fight we are willing to put into ourselves. Linked to the Seven of Wands in the Tarot, we must recognize there's a stark difference between resilience, determination, and competition or attack. If we are to face any challenges in our own leadership, ambition, and title, we need to trust not only what we feel, but protect this stance. Not in defending or proving any rules or regulations that no longer work, but looking at those we are willing to stand by and in through our actions. Found in the third decan of Leo, occurring on the 12th of February at 13:53 UK time, numerically offering the vibration of the Hanged Man, Empress, High Priestess, Hermit, Hierophant, Temperance, Death, and Strength overall. It is only in connecting to the moments of individual truth that any peace can ever hope to be collectively found, as we continue to witness the emotional wisdom now rising through a more expanded perception. For the transformation this brings, created from the very fires that may at times necessarily rage within us. May we all recognize it's not the external view of others that determines the belief we have in ourselves, but our own. That's how winning is done. In deepest moon eye, I ask you now, what if that ain't you? You know where I am. Take care. Kirsty.